Oh my gosh. So we just arrived at YALC, that was amazing! We waited for about 45 minutes in the queue and it was slow. Yes, wristbands and everything, and now we're here and we're just in a queue for goodie bags, I think it is, I don't know. And then the floor is over there, so we'll go and explore later. Okay, so we just went to the penguin store and picked up some of the arcs they had there. So this one's the Mortal Coil, and I'm not sure who it's by because it doesn't say anywhere on the book, but this came up on NetGalley, so it's really cool to have a physical copy. And it's also got these really cool sprayed edges, so it's like a full red brick. Then next we have The Truth and Lies of Ella Black, which is Emily Barr's new book, and she did One Memory of Laura Banks, which I really, really loved, so it's great to find this. And then one that we really weren't expecting to see here, but is like the most exciting, is The Undercover Princess by Connie Glynn. We've heard her talking about it on her Nudorella YouTube channel, and it's about a boarding school, and I assume princesses, so it just sounds magical, and I can't believe it's here. Yes, guys, what have you got?
The Hazelwood, The Truth of the Emily Barr one. The one by Connie, and this, which is apparently reminiscent of Stranger Things, which
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed, so.
Go back.
Something on there written by will.i.am, which I didn't.
No, come on. And then this is Penguin's booth. And we've got loads of beautiful posters in the back. That was their arc table, or it's now like completely decimated. And then they're selling lemonade for Juniper Lemon. And then the Waterstones is over there. So this was my kind of book. And we already picked up Stephanie Perkins' new book. They have a bunch of stuff on the floor that's just free for all, and loads of beautiful posters.
I'm dazed.
And then, so it's just through there. And then the queue to get in is already huge. Thank you very much.
The brilliantly funny Tom Ellen and Lucy Ivison. They're the authors of Lobsters, Never Evers and Freshers, which is out in August next month.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have already had the pleasure of reading it, and I encourage you strongly to do the same. To the left, I have Catherine Core and Liz Core, who are the authors of fantasy trilogy The Witch's Kiss, Witch's Tears, and The Witch's Blood, which is due out in March next year, I believe.
Can I just stop you? Do you say your name is Salisbury?
Yes. That is how it is pronounced.
I didn't know that. I thought it was Salisbury.
You know so little about me.
I'm so sorry, that's twice I've had an awful thing about your name.
And traditionally, I think writing is something that is quite a solo, lonely activity. You guys obviously write together, so how is that? Like, what made you decide to write together?
Tom Ellen?
Wow, I'll field that one. I think for us it was just we both liked writing, and we were friends, and we thought it would be fun to just have a project to do together. Just almost like a hobby, like instead of going to play tennis or something, we would just hang out and write. We would never play tennis. I don't even know why it said tennis. I don't think I've ever played tennis in my life.
So if we're stuck on a particular part of the book, sometimes we do this like thing where we're like, right, let's split apart for 10 minutes and you try like 3 lines, different ways of doing it, and I'll try 3 different ways of doing it, and then we have like a competition.
I'm not sure about Liz, but I think my real driver for writing with my sister is that I'm far too lazy to write on my own. For years and years I've tried to write books, and I got to the first 3 chapters and I thought, actually this is really hard to carry on, I'm just going to go back and edit the first 2 chapters over and over and over again. So I never actually finished everything.
Yeah, and I was always very good at endings, so we had a beginning and an ending, just not the middle.
So one way we wrote together, we actually managed to get the beginning, the middle, which was really good.
I think mainly I wanted to start being a writer because I didn't want to be a lawyer anymore. I thought it would be more fun, and then I asked her to help me.
How do you write? Like, do you write side by side? Do you kind of like the postal service, email collaboration? Like, what is the process?
We usually start off by dividing all the chapters up, but as you go along, I write way faster than she does, so...
Not necessarily better.
Not necessarily better, just before you. But, so we start off allegedly, with every other chapter, then we just write the bits we like, and, then we redline each other's stuff, and then we get into arguments, and
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we had a large argument on
Can I include a dragon?
that was on Twitter. We do a lot of editing on just over the phone actually.
But I don't like her sitting next to me because she reads over my shoulder and I don't want to beat people to death if they read over my shoulder.
I'm a little bit worried about you sitting next to each other now. Might do a bit of a swap.
We do it a bit like a really elaborate game of consequences, basically, where, well no, like when we start a book, we'll sit down together and say like, right, this is broadly what it's going to be about, and here's like 4 or 5 things that we know will happen. And then we basically just go away and just email stuff.
Yeah, we don't really plan our books.
Yeah,
Like other people. I know other people do plan their books, which may be wise, but we just talk about like stuff. When we were writing Freshers, we just had a conversation about what university was like when we went back to our university, and we kind of resurrected, and I read my diaries from then, and we sort of listened to music from when we were at university and kind of really tried to remember what we were feeling at that time, and we just go with the feeling and then start writing the book rather than have the plot.
It doesn't make our books sound very good.
Make them sound better.
No, I think it's quite, I mean, that's the exciting thing about collaborating is that you don't know what, if you're writing by yourself, you might surprise yourself occasionally, but it's never going to be as surprising as when someone else, there have been times when we've written where I've thought the story is going in a certain way and then I'll email something to Lucy and I'm like, what the hell, what are you talking about? Like, why has that person done that, or why did...
Yeah, why has that person suddenly inserted a dragon into the
Yes,
story?
that happens a lot.
What we had a conversation about yesterday.
Conversation.
Yes, well, it was a
Smackdown.
fight. We have to plan everything because otherwise I find that this one goes off. She goes AWOL. And I wrote one chapter and then she wrote next. And in between the 2 chapters, one of the main characters' eyeballs disappeared. I was like, no, I'm going to put his eyeballs back. Don't worry. We have to plan. All these things happen.
Seriously though, like, do you have like serious disagreements when you're writing together? Like, and how do you tackle that when that happens? Because I mean, it must.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I would describe you as a passive-aggressive person. I would describe myself as an openly aggressive person.
Correct as well, yeah.
So I think when we fall out, Tom usually says things like, do you think that's like, I don't, what are you...
Sure, that's a good idea.
I don't, and I'll be like, what are you trying to say?
We never fall out about big, I never fall out about major plot points. It's always really tiny little, like one-line things. It's usually like jokes. Lucy will be like, I've written this hilarious joke, and I'll be like, it doesn't work, and then that will become the source of quite...
We also fall out over grammar because my grammar is really, really bad.
Yeah.
And Tom's grammar
is really bad.
Tom's grammar is...
That's like, if you're the good grammar person in the collaborating partnership, you're just basically a spell checker, and you're kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And every time Tom is like, why don't you just learn how to lay out the dialogue? Just learn how to do it, and then I won't have to do it. But it's a mystery to me.
Like you guys, I suspect you may have had maybe 1 or 2 disagreements about things. What do you do?
I think we're fairly divided into the killing people off and the trying to save people camp.
Yeah.
And that's our main source of disagreement, I think. Catherine's always like, how about we burn them, or...
I like to be creative.
Sadistic.
Yeah, we do argue about grammar because somebody doesn't really have any grammar.
What do I always say? You're always correcting me. I always say
Less or fewer. She's always like, less. Too many commas.
and exclamation marks.
Too many exclamation marks. So we had to argue about that.
Yeah,
You hate exclamation marks as well, actually.
You hate exclamation marks.
I hate them too. Can we just have a show of hands who likes exclamation points?
I quite
Get out. Get out.
No, because it sounds like she was dead.
after she's dead.
I don't know, like it makes everything comedy, I think. Like, are you really doing that? I don't like it.
Is that really what happens when you read an exclamation mark?
Like, that's what it's supposed to do, I think.
Has there ever been a point where you have maybe wanted to throw the towel in and stop writing together? Like, has there ever been that scary point of, I can't do this anymore with this person?
I am full of empty threats. I am definitely a woman, a teacher, and a person of empty threats. I say a lot, like, to various people. I once went out with someone and he was like, it wasn't Tom. I did go out with Tom, but it wasn't him. And he was like, but you said you would never forgive me as long as you lived and you would die thinking about it. And I was like, about what? I don't do that. And so I can get that way where I say over-dramatic things and then Tom says, why are you being so dramatic about it? And I'm like, because this is how I feel now, in this moment. And then I forget about it really instantly like a child. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. And that is when it's quite difficult being in a collaboration. I remember like when we were writing our first book, I guess that's just like a first book thing, because obviously we didn't know it was going to get published and we didn't know what was going to happen. I remember the feeling like, a few times thinking like, is this worth it? Should we stop now? But that wasn't really about the collaboration. In fact, that's the thing that
was about you wanting to go on a stag do. That's what that was about. You were like, I just don't think we should do it anymore. And I was like, why? And you were like, I just don't think it's like, I just don't know if it's like, yeah, I think we should give up. And I was like, why? Just because you're going on a stag do and you don't want to do it? And you were like,
is that actually true?
I believe so.
So, but I was going to say, I think like being in a collaboration is quite good for those moments, because if you're writing by yourself, then maybe you would just throw in the towel. When you've got someone else who's kind of shivving you along, making sure, that's when it helps to be.
To be honest, we know far too much about each other to ever say to the other one we couldn't do it, because we've both got too much dirt.
So we just finished going to the collaboration panel, which was the first one of the morning. It had the Core Sisters and then Tom Allen and Lucy Ivison on there as well.
It was hilarious.
It was amazing. We managed to film a little bit of it towards it just descended into jokes, and they were telling all these anecdotes about their own writing process, which was really lovely. And of course, because we want to write together, it's always great to hear some other perspectives from dual authors. Core Sisters, and then Tom Allen and Lucy Ivison are in there. We're here in this queue. We're just waiting to get freshers signed, and then I don't really know what our schedule is from then.
Now I say it, maybe it's not funny.
No, it was hilarious.
No, you really
it was.
deliver it like...
Yeah, I didn't give it.
You're playing it down.
I didn't do it.
So we've just sat down now, and we have a bit of time to kill until our next thing, about half an hour, and then after that we've only got one signing to go to, and then it's lunch, and then more signings after that. Paris can get this done. Yeah. So how's it been so far, ladies?
It's been really good. The beginning was like frantic and kind of scary. I didn't realise it was going to be like that.
Yeah.
But then like I feel once we went to that panel and then got some signings done, I was like, oh, this is how the rest of the weekend is going to work, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Look how many bags we have as well. We've got bags galore because we only turned up with one each, and now we have about 3 tote bags.
3 tote bags.
They've done the book wall that appeared last year, and it's really, really fabulous. Can you just imagine if our library was this and we just had books tied with ribbons? So they've got some really cute ones. And that's what it looks like further down, and we're just sat there. So because me and B picked up 2 of the fandom, I'm going to put this one down and pick up Eden Summer. Because that was the one that we wanted. You have made your swap.
Sounds interesting. It's like mystery, murder.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll enjoy it more than your other book. Bee's just waiting for her number to be called with Revel of the Sands, because it's a big queue. It's the queue behind that one, so that just looks like a mob of people. Queues have already started forming for the signings that are happening in half an hour, and Juno Dawson has arrived with her new beautiful mermaid hair.
Oh, it's so great. Oh, thank you so much. I loved writing it, so that means a lot. Thank you. Because everyone's like warns you about your second book. They're like, it's so hard, it's so scary, and I'm like, I had fun writing Trader. Did I mess up?
The tone was different. I kind of liked how it was more subtle, and like politics was coming in more intensely.
Yeah. I always think of like trilogies, especially YA trilogies, a bit like Star Wars. Do you know what I mean? Like the first one is A New Hope, and it's all explosions, and we have to blow up the Death Star, and then the second one is a bit quieter. It's a bit more, Empire Strikes Back. So just making sure I spelled your name correctly, because sometimes I get distracted, and I might have signed it to Empire Strikes Back, because that's the word that I just said. It's so pretty, and I can say that and not sound braggy because I had nothing to do with it. They just showed it to me and they were like, any comments? And I was like, nope, it's amazing.
So we're currently in some downtime of the YALC now. We've got like an hour before our next signing/panel starts.
Yeah.
So what we have done, I just went to go get my book signed by Alwyn Hamilton. There was like a huge queue, and then I got a virtual ticket, so I had to wait quite a while to do that.
And then I managed to pick up you can't really see the title because it's all transparent, but I picked up a sampler of Clean by Juno Dawson, and her queue was like pretty much dead. There was only one person ahead of me, and so I thought, oh, I'll just run and get her to sign this because we've got everything else signed. So that's what that looks like. And apparently she talked about something else, like another sampler maybe of hers that was going to be dropping as well, so I'll keep my eye out through the weekend. weekend. She said to me to bear with the main character because she's a little bit hard to like, and I think that's in response to the video that we did reviewing all of her books, because we didn't really like the main character of all of the above because she was a bit unlikable, so that was cute and funny. So we're just waiting for our second panel of the day to start, which is Writing What You Know, and it's a bunch of contemporary authors that are all going to be signing straight away after, which is really fun, and Bea has just ran to the Walker store to see if she can get a copy of the Good Days Pact before Alison Goodman's signing, which will hopefully still be going on in an hour when this is over.
Well, thank you for coming to our panel. This is Writing What You Know and Writing What You Don't Know. I'm Catherine Weber, author of Wing Jones, and with me is our amazing panelists. I'm a big fan of all of their work and really excited to talk to them. Q&A between us, and then we're going to open it up to questions for you guys. So next to me I have Rachel Lucas, author of State of Grace, which just came out. Hooray! We need to do cheers for everyone. Then we have Lisa Williamson, whose newest All About Mia came out in February. Round of applause for Lisa. Alex Weedle, author of the Crumpton Nights trilogy. The most recent one is
Straight Out of Crumpton.
Straight Out of Crumpton. And Alex also recently won for his second book. He won the Guardian's Children's Book Prize. So there. And we have Hannah Witten, a YouTuber extraordinaire and also author of Doing It, an amazing nonfiction book all about sex. So Hannah Witten. And then we have Lisa Heathfield, author of her newest one, Flight of a Starling. It just came out and is beautiful. So for Lisa, everyone. To get us started, I thought it would be nice kind of to talk about what it means writing what you know and what you don't know. You know, everyone always says, oh, write what you know. But of course, if it's fiction, you know, you're going to have to expand a little bit and go from your imagination. You know, we're all writing on some level things we know. We're writing about people and emotions and life, and then combined with writing what you can imagine. What do you guys think about the concept of writing what you know versus what you, quote, don't know?
I think it's about trying to understand the madness of life. Crumpton Nights opens with bailiffs coming around to take possession of the goods in somebody's home. And that was my experience, and many of my friends' experience living in Brixton in the early 80s and so. And I'm trying to imagine what would that be like for a child of, say, 13, 14. Really, I'm taking something that's real and exploding it into fiction.
Well, when I write books, I don't start out by thinking I want to write something I do know, but and I'm sorry if this is a spoiler for people. When I was a teacher, in my first year of teaching, one of my gorgeous Year 11 boys took his own life. It was deeply traumatic as a teacher, and it was deeply traumatic watching his friends coping with it. And I always felt there might be a book where I wanted to potentially stop one child, one teen or one adult from taking that route. So although Flight of a Starling is set in a circus, which I actually, when I started, knew nothing about, that's the core of the novel does unfortunately have, I do know about it.
And with like a lot of the gaps in, not necessarily gaps in my knowledge, but gaps in my personal experience, I felt like I wanted to give that space to other people who have experienced those things. So the chapter on LGBTQ+ in my book is mostly written by people who are LGBT.
Lisa, what about you, who was both of The Art of Being Normal and Mia, who are kind of more outside of your own experiences? How did you bridge that gap between writing what you know, because again, kind of human experience, with things that were outside what you would know?
I guess with The Art of Being Normal, it wasn't something I'd experienced, but it was something that I knew about because I'd worked with transgender teams for a couple of years and got to hear their stories pretty sort of close up. So definitely it was something I knew about, but I could never say, that's something I know exactly what it feels like, because I don't. I just thought I'm going to do the damnedest hard job to sort of imagine and put myself in the shoes and see what it would feel like. And then with All About Mia, a lot of people have read it because Mia, the central character, is a middle child, and she acts out a lot, and she's really rebellious, and she says what she thinks, and she's really confident. And people often say, oh, were you like that as a teenager? I'm like, no, not at all. I was like a little mouse. So I guess I like, but at the same time, I've been to school, I've been a teenager, and I've seen girls like Mia, and that was enough for me to go, right, well, what might it be like to then put myself in her shoes? Maybe the cool girl who looks like she's got it all sorted, but maybe there's other things going on, or what might that be like? To really, I don't know, if you're going to take a character that's their experience is totally outside yours, just to do the homework, really, and really just approach it kind of sensitively and with empathy, and hopefully then that will come across.
I think you could argue, and you guys let me know if you agree or disagree, kind of anytime you're writing something, even if it is based on things that you have a lot of personal experience about and you know, it's still fictional characters. You're still bringing that, level of imagination onto it. And also, obviously, everyone is different. So for example, a trans person might have a completely different experience than you wrote about, and I don't think one book can represent a whole wide swath of people. Rachel, what about you with State of Grace?
Well, actually, that's quite an interesting thing to follow on from, because I wrote The State of Grace after my daughter got an autism diagnosis, and then the same year I did. So yeah, it was important for me to write it because I wanted autistic people to have something out there that was written from that viewpoint. But I think at the same time, imagination is really important.
For me, it's about empathy. I'm sure all of us empathise with our characters. We have to as writers. That's one of our main jobs. But also frustration. I do youth work, and I come across young people all the time, and sometimes they confide in us. They trust us enough to confide in us and tell us about their problems at home. And we only spend maybe 2 evenings a week with these troubled young people. And there's a frustration that you cannot kind of have so much of an impact on their lives, because you can talk all you like and give out the best advice, but at the end of the evening they have to go home and face their livelihoods basically inside their home, and you feel a bit impotent about changing their lives in any kind of particular way. And so as writers, at least I can have an outcome, at least I can have an influence on these characters who desperately need help, desperately need advice.
I feel the same as Alex actually, that the feelings are going to be the same, the feelings if you were writing even a historical novel, that although teens are different now, the feelings are going to be the same inside if you fall in love or you're confused by your sexuality, they're all going to be the same emotions really. Whether I write, I don't know, I don't choose my books what I write, and they sort of come to me strangely in weird ways, so who knows. I feel similar. I'm not sure my imagination's brilliant enough to write something that fantastic, but you never know.
I think I write the sort of books that I wanted when I was a teenager, and I wanted contemporary books, but just about like a life that was more interesting than mine, because I was just one of those teenagers who was I was really young and I was really shy, and I just felt like reading books was my way of seeing what teenage life was like almost alternative, like what my teenage life could have been like if I lived here or here. So I'm kind of writing those books I want to read about teenagers having experiences a little bit different to mine. So I guess I'm writing for my teenage self.
I would love to know if you guys have ever had the experience when you're reading something and you've seen something that is meant to portray something that you identify with, whether it's your religion or your race or where you're from or anything, what your job is, and you've been like, oh no, like that one did it wrong. We don't call anyone out, but like kind of what that felt like, or if you've seen anything and you've been like, and you felt kind of like a kinship. And I'll say, as a straight white woman from America, when I read a book about a blonde girl, I'm not like, oh yay, there's me, because let's be real, there's a lot of that. So I never had to have kind of that seeking, but I had my husband is Chinese, and he had an experience, not even the same part of Asian ancestry, but he was reading Eleanor and Park, and he was like, oh, it's really cool that the Asian guy is cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is such, and I feel really, I'm in such a privileged position that I didn't really kind of have to seek myself out. But I'd love to know from you guys, like kind of, if you remember that first time you kind of saw yourself in a book, if you were like, yay, more representation, or if you were like, oh, they really got it wrong.
I'm kind of the same as you, Katie, like, white straight woman, like I'm represented in books all of the time. But there is one character that stands out to me. I'm like, yes, and it's Lottie from Hollybourne's Spinster Club.
Yeah,
I'm just
amazing.
like, that's me.
I was a teenager in the 90s, and there wasn't so much YA. I mean, there was YA out there, and there's a lot of American YA. So I was reading a lot of like Sweet Valley High, which I loved. But I had nothing in common with these like 2 gorgeous twins who lived in California and went to like proms and dates and stuff. And I was like going to swimming club. I mean, it's just not the same. But then I remember reading this book that had this girl in it who was just like really shy and a bit awkward. And then there was this bit where she had like her first snog, and it was really awkward. But it was like I can aspire to that. This level of awkwardness. And it was a book called After the Rain, and I stole it from the library. The scene where she got like the snog by waterfall like so many times.
So we just finished going to the panel about writing what you know, and there were so many authors on there, so it was really great to get that mix mixture of having like a very select few and then a big range. So you've already seen the footage for that, and now we're waiting in the queue for Catherine Webber to get Wing Jones signed. Super sweet that she was chairing the panel, but also kind of contributing to the conversation as well. So I felt like I got a good amount of Katie Webber in that panel too.
Oh, good to see you. Yeah. I saw your little smiley face in the event. I was like, oh, hello. Yeah, I'm still thinking about it. I'm so glad I come back. Yeah.
I have read it since.
Yeah.
So
Really liked it.
I did. I loved it.
That's so nice. I feel like, and now it's for younger kids, it's for 6-9-year-olds, but still fun. Still fun.
Thank you very much for that review. She's the first artist director that I've read about and just felt like so in touch with. So
I really like I did really like when you were analysing like Claire's reactions to it as well, because you were just like, that's not cool. Like, no, it's not cool. Like,
I knew you knew, that's the thing.
She's meant to not be cool with this, and like when she's like, oh, you know, I didn't spend enough time on Tumblr, and it's like, because that's like things that people say to me about it, and I'm just like, but it's not just on Tumblr, it's in your real life. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Am I planning signing it to both of you?
Yeah, both of us.
Oh.
Everyone was on the same page with that one.
Oh, well done.
But yeah, no, what I would like is to see more actual, like, sexualised asexual characters.
Yeah.
It's not and it's made me really kind of angry. You know, these are I know, I do feel like I'm actually just really angry. Everybody's so excited about it. It's like, it shouldn't be this exciting. There should just be more characters, and then it shouldn't be, and because there's only some character, I'm like, oh, I feel like I want to write as a main character now, which I will. Right, so I'm going to write, because I can flip it, and it's like one side together and one side together.
Nice idea.
Just because I can. I feel like now we've got flip book, I want to do everything I can.
Everything you can.
Make it as exciting as possible. So
So much. Nice to meet you. Have a great
stamps first.
And see you around the rest of the weekend.
Did you write it in that order?
I did, because like normally obviously like my other books I've been like swapping narrators partway through.
Yeah. So nice to meet you. Bye.
But for this, it just didn't work. So I had like Claire was the person who wanted to do it. So I was like, right, I just need to. So yeah, I had to do it this way around. And actually, it was a lot easier doing it like that.
Was that the funnest part?
I was like, I'm bad at writing out. You just thought I would learn how to do this by now. So yeah, it was my favourite thing would just be like, what I'm doing. Yeah, because I'd just be like spending all my time on YouTube, watching videos and being like, this is work. I'm watching Dan and Phil for work. Dan and Phil.
So nice to meet you.
Yeah, well, then like it was funny because I did basically realise, like, and then I watched a few tutorials on like how to set up your own YouTube channel. Like, oh god, it's so much work.
Absolutely.
Just so much work, but I had so much fun.
Yes.
Sorry, I've got it to you too long. We'll see.
Different you said about Georgette Heyer. I recently had to read some of her work for a guilty pleasures module I'm doing for university.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, yeah, the one thing this needs is demons.
Yeah, that's
you know, it just
sticks out, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I really loved it.
Oh, thank you.
You can bring it up in the seminar.
Yeah, I'll be seeing some demons. I suggest we read this instead.
Well, when I was thinking about what I wanted to write, it was basically Georgette Heyer and Buffy. Actually, my next project is has twin sisters as the protagonists.
Oh, wonderful.
I know.
Oh, gorgeous.
When I got here, they were kind of piled up on the table and went for a little wander around and came back and there were two left.
Yeah, it was quite quick.
Yeah.
That must feel fantastic though, that people really want it.
It does, yeah.
Is it more of like
like second YA book and that was difficult as well?
It was really hard. They were really hard to write. This one, I'm going through these proofs, but on pages like supposedly looking for spelling mistakes, and I'm still editing it. I can't help myself, and I know publishers hate you if you do that. But I'm just like, I'm just going to change that. Just going to change that. I knew what the book was going to be when I started writing it, and this one changed quite a lot. So I was kind of like, oh, this could happen. And then back we go.
Yeah. Does it have the same sort of like twists and turns?
Yes, it has it's more dark. Yeah.
Leave it at that.
If you're okay with things being dark, then that's the book for you.
Thank you so much.
This professionalism. Cheering the awful tripod. We're dedicated to our craft.
So the last thing we filmed was our meeting Emily Barr, and then after that we joined the Karen and McManus queue, and then we like lingered around a bit, and I'd say in like the last hour and a half the whole floor was like really dead.
Yeah, because publishers started like collapsing there and like hiding all of the arcs that they'd saved for the weekend, which we were very tempted to steal.
Yeah, just leaving them in like two stacks with no one guarding the store.
The book that we're talking about that we desperately want is The Opposite of OK, which is being published by Edgemont in the beginning of 2018.
Yeah.
So it's like a really early thing, and they're only giving out 25 copies in batches, and there are only like 2 flash giveaways in the day.
The person in front of me got the last one, and I just looked at the woman in the eye like...
I mean, I think half the reason why people want it is because they see other people wanting it.
Yeah.
Like, that definitely seems to be the culture around ARCs. If there are like 5+ people at a stall, it attracts way more people than if it's
you
just
might
like
just
one.
see people running and be like, oh, what's that?
You also didn't really get to film like the mad arc dash that we had in the beginning. The rest of the day was like quite gentle and like moving from signing to signing or panel or whatever. But like the first 20 minutes we were just like going through the stalls, and first arc we got was The Fandom by Anna Day, because Chicken House had loads of them and they weren't faffing about, they were just handing them. I think we had to sign up to their newsletter, but that didn't take a second, so that was fine. And then Lily came over with a stack and she was like, go to Macmillan and Penguin, because they're just like giving them out. So they had tables and it was a free-for-all grab situation, so you bet we grabbed.
So we have got quite a bit planned for tomorrow, but obviously you'll get to see that as well.
See you tomorrow.